You are trespassing. This land belongs to the HOA now.
All right, you might want to check those documents again.
I know exactly what I am doing.
No, you really don't.
It was 6:15 in the morning, the mountains were glowing gold, and I was standing on 40 acres of land my family had owned for 80 years when my phone buzzed and a calm voice told me I was trespassing on private property and needed to leave immediately, and for a second I actually laughed. Because imagine being told you do not belong on land your grandfather bought after the war. But before this gets crazy, I am curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments, because what happened next turned a quiet farm into a full-blown investigation. My name is Ezra Blackwood. I am a deputy sheriff, and after 15 years on the job, I came back home thinking I would finally get peace. Instead, I walked straight into a war with a woman who thought power came from confidence instead of law. Her name was Karen Petchon, and from the moment she stepped onto my land with a stack of fake HOA papers, I knew something was off. She talked like she owned everything, demanded I remove my barn, my animals, even my farm stand, and threatened $500 a day in fines like it was nothing. But what stood out was not the threats. It was the way she looked at my land, like she was already planning something bigger, and that feeling only got stronger when her husband quietly offered to buy my entire property for way above market value. That is when it clicked. This was never about rules. This was about taking something that was not theirs. So instead of arguing, I did what I have been trained to do my entire career. I started documenting everything, every visit, every threat, every false complaint, because people like Karen always make the same mistake. They think no one is paying attention, and then they go too far. She called animal control on my chickens, filed reports about dangerous livestock, tried to block my customers, and even accused me of criminal activity. But every single claim collapsed because the truth was simple. My farm was cleaner, safer, and more legitimate than anything she could prove, and the more she pushed, the more support I gained. Neighbors started showing up. Local families backed me. Even people from outside the area came just to stand with me, and that is when Karen made her biggest mistake. She got desperate. And desperate people do reckless things. She tried to bribe an inspector to shut me down, and that moment changed everything, because now it was no longer a disagreement. It was a criminal case. And when I started digging deeper into records, what I found was worse than anything I expected. The HOA she claimed to run did not legally exist. Not even close. No registration, no authority, no oversight. Just 5 years of collecting money from neighbors straight into her personal account. Over $300,000 gone. And suddenly, everything made sense. Every threat, every demand, every attempt to push me out was not about control. It was about hiding a fraud that could destroy her life. So I made a decision. I was not going to stop her. I was going to let her finish, and that is exactly what she did. She organized a big meeting, calling it the moment she would expose me as the problem. Packed room, cameras rolling, people watching, and she stood there confident, louder than ever, accusing me of crimes, corruption, and everything else she could think of. And when she finished, I stood up, walked to the front, and in the quietest room I have ever heard, I said, "My name is Deputy Sheriff Ezra Blackwood, and Karen Petchon, you were under arrest." Just like that, everything changed. Her confidence disappeared. Her voice cracked, and for the first time she realized she had not been in control at all. The entire time she had been building a case against herself. Fraud, embezzlement, false reports, even bribery, all documented, all undeniable, in months later the result was exactly what you would expect: prison time, restitution, and every single victim getting their money back. But the real ending was not her downfall. It was what came after. The community came together, the farm grew stronger, and the place she tried to destroy became the one thing everyone protected. And honestly, it makes you think, what would you have done in my position? Would you fight back or walk away? Let me know in the comments, and if stories like this hit different, you already know what to do.